I'm Mitch, reporting for CardRed.org. I'm here with a very disappointed Krepo, the support player from CLG. You lost 2-0 to SK Gaming. You can't have expected that because no one else did.
No, we knew they were better than they used to be. They improved a lot, but yeah, nobody expected to lose. Nobody wanted to lose. The good thing is we have tomorrow Fnatic, the match against Fnatic for third place, which is actually the really important part. Top 3 is actually what we aim for. I've always said if I'm top 3, I'm happy, but this makes it a little too cutthroat, a little bit too much exciting. So yeah.
Well, right, let's talk about kind of what happened. First of all, I mean, Ocelot seemed to be just destroying everyone with Orianna. I mean, was that a factor? Were you expecting him to do so well with that particular champion?
We can handle Orianna, but basically game 1 all snowballed from level 1. Alistair walked up, stole a blue buff, even though we saw him. We called a smite, but yeah, miscommunication, I don't know. We assumed they didn't have a ward, or Snoopy assumed they didn't have a ward, and yeah, Alistair stole it. If he didn't get that blue buff, he'd be level 1, his red buff was taken by his bot lane, so all his buffs would be gone and he'd be like completely destroyed. What ended up happening was our jungle being destroyed. We kind of fought back from it, but we gave them like little advantages too much and we just lost control. And then game 2 we had a really good early game, but we made some like positional mistakes and we lost farm going too much for objectives, and yeah, we were at the wrong edge from the zone. Like normally if you zone dragons you need to be left side, not right side. And we got zoned out of the wrong areas, and then some really bad split decision making. So yeah, we really played poorly. We deserved to lose. SK deserved to win. And all the rest is like played better against Fnatic tomorrow.
Well, what was going on internally in the team? Because it looked to be getting maybe a little bit kind of heated at some point. Snoopy, you know, well, you can tell me the story. Well, it looked like there was maybe a little bit of an argument from the outside, but what happened? Well,
you discuss plays, and as always, like if somebody makes a mistake, you just point it out, and it's fine. Like I don't care who makes a mistake. I don't care who made the mistakes earlier. What happens is we lost, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can go ranting and like blaming one guy now, but that won't change shit. Like we're still lost, so. You can always like point out in games mistakes. Yeah, it was Snoopy not smiting game 1 that cost us, but there was other factors as well. And regardless of that, game 2 we should have done better. And as a team, you need to improve. We have the same ordeal in Korea where we practice, we analyze replays. There's always one guy making a mistake, and you have to just deal with that. Like tomorrow in the game, we just have to forget about today, analyze our plays, prepare some tactics, and then we can come out on top easily.
Well, I want to ask you about Korea, because obviously you've been out there, and because this was kind of a shock result, some people like myself who try and make a living out of sounding intelligent, and like we know what we're talking about, they're going to say maybe you got used to the Korean way of doing things and it's impacted on your gameplay. What would you say to those people?
I just think the reason we played so poorly today is because we had 6 days without playing. We traveled here early to avoid jet lag, but we didn't have a chance to finally properly play. We didn't find like any LAN cafe nearby, and we didn't have the internet in the hotel either. So we were basically out of shape for 6 days. Although that's no excuse, you should always play your level, and you can always point that as an excuse. But I think it's a little factor in it that we were so out of routine. Because the games in OGN, we seem to perform way secure, way on the ball, on top of things. And here we just let some stuff slide that should never happen. But maybe that's because it's a louder LAN environment, or maybe we just had another bad day, or SK was just better than us, who knows.
Do you feel right now, I mean, you know, it's not the first time you've been to an event and had a disappointing finish. Do you guys feel like you are underachieving? I mean, or do you think these are like, you know, your bad luck, minor kinks, things that can be ironed out? Or do you think there's something a bit more endemic within the team? Because I think on paper it's a great side and you could do well, but at the moment it's just not happening for you.
Well, we did really well in DreamHack. We did actually well in Poland. In Poland we came second. Okay, we lost to Moscow 5 to a slip-up, but that's still like one of the best European teams. We're still semi-finals OGN, and we have a possibility of a top 3 finish here, so I wouldn't say we're doing too bad, but yeah, you need to be the best, and if you're not the best, you need to work. And I think we have a good atmosphere to work in, because a lot of teams do, like when they do well, it snowballs well, but when they do bad, it snowballs badly. And I think we're all mature enough to deal with that, so we'll just have to make sure we get top 3. and then practice really hard and then get some more routine going.
Right. Well, I just want to come back to the Korean issue just for a little bit, because there was one general question I was going to ask. May as well get it out of the way before we look to the matters ahead. In terms of how well the Korean teams are doing, I mean, I think they've been very impressive and they're really embracing the game out there, and it's very popular. What insight can you give us about how Korean teams are going to do in the future? I mean, do you think, like we see in StarCraft, you know, are the Koreans going to dominate eventually?
At the first, you'd say they would, but then again, with Riot pumping up so much money in European circuit, in NA circuit as well, the chance for all professional gamers to live in the same house, to have that same practice regime that the Koreans have, I don't think Koreans will necessarily get ahead. They have the chance to get ahead, same way NA or Europe has, because the reason StarCraft 2 players are so good in Korea, they have the structure to go in. Like the Korean servers, as far as I know, is way better than all the rest, and they have like the gaming house environments, and they're really set to improve. They have the mindset, but I think a lot of European teams can pick that up as well. Like the way boot camps went for SK Gaming and Moscow 5, the way we trained as well in gaming house environments. I think it's possible that any region can take it, but by the inherent nature of Korean teams, they might have the slightest edge on us.
So we're talking about regions. That's what brings me nicely to Season 3. A lot of positivity surrounding what Riot are trying to do. Few people are maybe being a little bit critical of the Season 3 plans. What are your views? I mean, are you excited by it? Do you think it's a step in the right direction? Would you change anything?
I think it's lifting esports to the next level. Allowing over the globe 16 teams in Europe and NA, financial support, like proper like security, like half-year contracts, or like a league that lasts at least half a year, like plans to look into the future rather than being set in stone and not knowing where you're going to end up next week or next month. I think Riot's doing a really good job, like trying to make the best game, the best environment for the professional players, as well as creating the amateur circuit that will come under League Championship Series, which will be really, really interesting for like the step-up teams that don't know, like, should I quit school, should I keep pursuing gaming, but they can have a little mix of both in there as well.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? I mean, how are you adapting to that change? So obviously it's come a long way since it started, and how are you finding it? I mean, are you do you ever feel under kind of pressure to behave in a way that maybe you're not kind of ready for? Like, we all have slips when we're playing, you know, solo queue or whatever, and you've got to be careful about everything you say and everything you do. Are you dealing with that all right?
It's an experience that comes along the way, and Riot is not an elitist overlooker. They're really, really kind. They're in good contact. There's like the mutual respect. Yeah, sure, you can't flame somebody in solo queue. Yes, you have to watch your mouth at streaming, but that's generally etiquette in life. And like doing these events and seeing how nice people are to you, it's a little effort to be nice to them. So
let's talk about the tournament, and then I'll let you go because I know you're in a hurry. So right, okay, how are you approaching your game tomorrow? You know, how do you think it's going to go? Are you going to change anything from today?
Well, basically, we're still playing the same game. We're going to go over picks and bans at home, do some predicting, analyze some replays, talk about some points that were good, talk about some points that were bad, then get a good night's sleep and proper breakfast, and then we'll go right into it. Okay,
well, breakfast is important. And who's going to win in the final? If you were a betting man, how would you place the checks, so to speak?
No, SK has been playing really, really dominant, but they're really emotional as well. If you take one game from them, they'll go down the drain, like emotional-wise, and Moscow 5 can keep their cool. It's two different playstyles. I have no idea. I'll say Moscow 5 2-1.
Who would you like to win? I mean, do you have a personal preference? Because you've obviously lost SK, so if they were to win, then that would be cool. Because you can say, well, we lost to the winners, and you know, everyone seems to like and respect Moscow 5, perhaps a bit more than SK, because of some of the characters in the team. So, do you have a preference, honestly?
I get along really well with the entire SK team, but we don't have like the outspoken rivalry. CLG Europe, Moscow 5 has like vanished over the course of time anyway. So I just hope for good games and a nice spectacle for the fans that we sadly enough can't provide. So final question, where are we going to see you guys next? Obviously we got the game tomorrow, but where are you going to be after IEM? Next week, Friday, we play semi-finals in OGN in Korea.
Okay, well, best of luck with that. I'm sure everyone will be following it, and thanks for taking the time to talk to me. All the people out there at cadred.org, do stay tuned to the website. We're going to have more interviews like this one before IEM Cologne 2012 comes to a close.